Morning, everyone.
Morning.
We're good?
Yep.
Shall we start with a small practice? Those who can stand up, please stand up. These are very old and ancient practices, okay? So we are going to do that. Thank you. Bring your hands together. Smile. Take the soft portion of your fingers and gently knock on your forehead. Our brain controls everything from toe to the head. The prefrontal cortex, where we are knocking right now, is the executive brain which controls everything. By sending simple vibrations across through this prefrontal cortex, we are sending energy along with nutrition and rich blood by which you refresh your brain. Whenever you feel little weak, little disturbed, practice this. Does not require a lot of effort. All that you need to do is, ideally if possible, sit straight, keep your spine straight, okay, and practice this. You will see the whole thing changes. This practice is probably 10,000 years old. Probably taken few thousand years for them to invent. Very powerful practice. Okay, we are going to start with the next practice. I definitely need some smiles. Some of you are still very serious. Thank you. The second one, we have never done it before in this crowd, and I keep reading the old scripts, and I came across. It seems to be a very powerful technique, very good for immunity. So it's a breathing technique. We have done box breathing, we have done 1-4-2 breathing, we have done different types of breathing. This breathing is called topper breathing. You can call it whatever the name you want to call. Okay, a name is a name after all, am I right? So we are going to do this breathing. So what you are going to do is you are going to take a long breath inside, then top it up, which means that your lung is fully ballooned up with air, and hold it for some time and then release it. Okay? So what you are doing is you are filling your lungs with a lot of air. Allow it to bombard in the walls and completely detox. Okay? Two things will happen. Your energy levels will substantially go up. This is primarily for detoxing purposes. Ideally, preferably, do it in the open air. Okay? So please do it with me. Breathe in. Top it up. Hold. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Close your mouth and completely exhale. Keep exhaling. You should be able to feel the shrink in your abdomen. You should be able to feel the tightness. You should be able to get that six-pack. Okay? Tummy fat losing is relatively easy, okay, with this practice. So this is a good practice that you can do. Okay? You can take your seat. Two practices that you have learned today. How to use the best part of our brain using a simple technique. The other one is a good breathing. Thank you for all that you do, sir. Be careful, you tell, huh? So let me start. The remote is with me. before I start, I want to sincerely thank you, team. It's about a year and a quarter of working with your team and you. You've done a very good job for the society and the community. Anyone who is looking at the definition of the word mental health, the last line says, what you give back to the community, what you serve to the community. Your community, I'm talking including, Sharif's team and other people, or the entire team sitting here. We are here to give back to the community. Earning professional money, profession, title, those are all secondary. But the purpose of our life. We are not producing alcohol, we are not producing marijuana. We are primarily doing the job of community service. It's a blessing that we have. What mistake am I doing, my friend?
It's not you, it's the computer. Try now. Okay.
I'll manage.
No, yeah, you upside down.
Okay. First few slides, I'm going to run through quickly. All of you have a copy of this. So this is coming from the National Institute of Health. It gives you all the information related to what data is available. National Institute of Health, your tax money is being spent extensively to do a lot of research and identifying tools for various disorders. Yoga Alliance, again, very good body. They are in near Washington, DC, and they do a very good job. They have videos for various disorders. International Journal of Yoga, they are part of something called yoga therapy. Extensive work. Again, they also have, whatever I am talking about, they are all evidence-based research. Okay, data available. If you want to go deeper into cellular level, you want to go into DNA level, there are scientific research available like, neurotransmitters, hormones, cortisol level, HRV, heart rate variability. So these are all completely science-based research. If you are a very video-oriented person, want to learn more about yoga, this gentleman by name, Andrew Huberman, very famous person. He is part of Stanford Health. He is a medical professional and he has done extensive work and he has recreated a lot of yoga techniques for our modern living. Okay, Yoga Nidra is supposed to be a fantastic tool. He has completely redone it as NSDR, non-sleep deep rest. He has done very good videos. It's worth considering to watch. You can even go and search in his laboratory, like, I'm not able to focus on my studies. I'm not able to concentrate. So such tools also he has provided. His name is Dr. McCall, Tim McCall. He is from Harvard, again a medical professional. He has written a book on how many 170 medical conditions helped by yoga, disorders helped by yoga. So it's completely again evidence-based. It's a very good book, people who are interested in studying and the foundations and principles of yoga. Very well done work. Okay, Dr. Khalsa, he is from Harvard. Dr. Lawrence Cohen, he is from, which is the top university for, is in Texas. Texas A&M. I remember the name, I will tell you. He's in the hospital, cancer hospital, and he applies yoga for cancer, pain management, and good number of people. MHA, you have somebody from here, MHA? They have a lot of contents here in their site as well. That's all about references. Now coming to yoga. How much time do I have? 5 minutes? Okay. Yoga is one of the 5 medical sciences from India. Okay, those people, most of you know what India is. I don't think I require introduction, but India is a very old country. Okay, even in our currency note, we have 22 languages. 22 languages. These are very well grammatical languages. So in terms of cuisines, in terms of lifestyle, in terms of culture, there's a world within that country. And people are always implicit, they develop various methods. They also develop different streams of medicine. Yoga is one such medical stream. The foundation behind yoga is nothing to be fed, nothing to be taken. You have got to make that person feel healthy. Yoga was originally designed for mental health. Okay? Extensively practiced, over 5,000 years of experience in curing things, evidences are available. At a very basic level, yoga helps to prevent and cure. But the real power of yoga is to enhance our brain. Yoga is, when I say enhance, I'm talking about thinking at a very micro level or at a very macro level and combining both in a very simple fashion. As human beings, among 8.7 million other creatures, we are the only creature with a sixth sense, the so-called intellect. Yoga empowers the utilization of that particular tool. Some of the very common tools that you will notice in our day-to-day life is this particular word called Namaste, which is very widely practiced. This tool is supposed to be 12,000 years old. And there are various versions to it. Like for example, you can gently rub with each other. The sound that you hear on one side, just try it. Just try to rub it on one side. See whether you can hear own sound. Can you hear? Go to the other side. Try the same thing. You can hear? Know what you have done? You have sent a number of neurotransmitters controlled through neuromodulators across various synapses through your sensory, which is top, to your left and right brain. Simple exercise. But you can completely refresh your brain. So when you say Namaste, this means a lot. You can hold your hand like this. Everything has a meaning, which you can practice. Really would help. When you are earning for something, when you are looking for something, if you are trying to gain something, you want peace for yourself. So there are different methods. This one has a different method. This one, by the way, all 5 fingers are one and the same. Okay? Do not abuse any of the fingers. Okay? So all 5 fingers are one and the same. And yoga is a very good tool for self-actualization. I have a connection to this earth. I come from this earth. I am made up of 5 components: solid, liquid, air, fire, and ether. Where is the heat coming from? It's coming from the sun. Am I right? That's the source of our primary energy. I come from here and go back here. Again, reborn. The animals, the plants, I am part of it. The water that comes out, the journey, if you look at it, it comes into me, it goes back. Who am I? I am part of this universe. I am the universe. Am I right? Yoga helps you to be in that state all the time. So, when I am part of this universe, when you are part of this universe, how can I have enmity against you? How can I hate myself? The very first principle of yoga is non-violence, comes from this concept. Okay? Physical fitness, I saw that particular piece of paper where it shows the nice chart, yes, and salutations. You can practice that, that's an ultimate one, you don't need anything else. And especially when you do it with the spirit of sun salutations. Sun is the only known resource which is most powerful. And you align your energy to the sun's energy. Oh God, you can get so much. Okay? And we practice Om practice. Om is basically nice taking a breath in and exhaling with a sound, which is a universal sound. Okay? Go to YouTube, tons of teachers available. Whichever the teacher you like, pick it up and move forward. Yoga sees body as 5 layers. The physical layer and its sensory organs. Eyes, nose, skin, ears, all of us know those. They are sensory organs, they are instruments. The tongue is a tasting organ. That's where it stops. Do not attach too much importance to anything that's happening to the sensory organ. The next layer is your energy layer, the communication layer. Okay, that is where the chakras and the energies, all of them come in. The next layer is mind layer. It's a screen on which the projection is done, like this screen. Our mind is a screen. You can change this image, and based on the image that we see, our emotions change. So the external stimulation activate our thoughts and vice versa our behavior. Completely controllable, very difficult to control. Yoga helps the tool, gives you the tools to control them. The next one is intellectual layer, and ultimately it's you, your soul, your life. Yoga helps you to be there. So it's you applying your intellect, manage your emotions to control the input coming from your sensory organs. So that's as simple as this. This is yoga in summary. The first 2 layers are ethics and morals. Ethics is non-violence. So if you get into yoga, be warned, be cautioned, you will become vegetarian. Because you don't want to harm even an animal. You are part of an animal kingdom. Okay, very likely that you will become a vegetarian. Most of the yoga people are vegetarian. Next one is be truthful. You will naturally evolve into that particular place because you don't want to cheat yourself. You will not steal, you will not flirt with other people, you will be very generous. You can be very generous with even smiles and hugs and love and things like that. We don't have to really write a check. The next one is personal habits. Be clean, physically and mentally, contented. Be happy with what you have. Nothing stops you. There is no resources needed to put in effort. It's your attitude. So, I am not getting anything. You don't need to get anything. You get satisfaction. That is 1,000 times better than the dollar check that you can get. This is an attitude, thinking. Want to be a beggarly, or you want to be, generous. So that's one of the tools that we are using. Constantly reevaluate yourself and have faith. Other aspects are postures, regulatory breathing, sensory control. The top layer is the most important part for yoga, which consists of mindfulness and meditation. That gives me an opportunity to invite Tina. I think We should invite her with a round of applause.
Good morning, everyone. Let me know if you can't hear me okay. So as Ronki said, my name is Tina Miles. I'm the Executive Director of Behavioral Health at St. Joe's. First, I would like to thank Shireen and United for Prevention in Passaic County for inviting us here today. As Ronki mentioned, we started our yoga journey about a year ago, a little bit more, and you'll hear a little bit more about where we are now in doing our research and bringing it to the community that comes for mental health services at St. Joseph's Health. Thank you to Ronki for his presentation. So I don't know about everybody else, but I'm a little bit more relaxed right now. No matter how many times you get up and talk in front of people, I did practice a couple of those breaths right before it was my turn to come on up. So let me make sure I've got this in my hand. So St. Joseph's Health has been providing mental health services for over 50 years. We are committed to working with the clients that come to us, to those in the community and around Passaic County. However, during that time, we've had to adapt. There's been lots of changes in mental health services. So we look, just like your agencies, very different today from when we started 50 plus years ago. And what do we have to do, right? We have to adapt. So when our journey with bringing yoga to mental health started, actually, I think it was a PAC meeting about a year ago where Ronki came to talk about the yoga initiative that was started at Bergen New Bridge. So we started with trialing some of the groups on our inpatient unit, worked with our internal IRB, and that's where it brought us here today, which we've started the initial phase of our research of bringing yoga into two of our outpatient programs. I'll talk about those shortly. So, and the other reason for why yoga now goes back to what I sort of just had said, is all of the changes we're going through right now. So the last few years have really been transformative for behavioral health and mental health. There have been changes to the people that we're seeing, to the services that we're providing. And even today, as we look forward, there's a lot of uncertainty up ahead. So thinking back to how we had to manage both during and after COVID, how we had to take care of the patients that we always saw, but there was a new group of people coming and seeking services from us. From the funding and insurance changes that we're all experiencing now, and how do we manage that and continue to provide the quality care that we do to the community. And then really currently the social media and news and the constant pressure of all of this information impacting all of us on a daily basis. It's right there in our hand, and how do we learn to turn it off, right? So how can we counter that? How can we try to be in the moment and care for ourselves during these uncertain times? So again, my connection with Ronki and getting this started really came at that time to say, what else can we bring to St. Joe's and to the clients that we serve to help them? This is another tool for them, not just to use in the clinics, but outside as well. So just make sure I've got everything. Okay. So one of the things was really sort of the innovative thinking. What can we do differently? How can we do it? The idea of the holistic intervention hybrid model. So at St. Joe's, as I said, we've been doing St. Joseph's. I'm trying to get away from saying St. Joe's, but it's so easy. We do a great job with therapy. We provide individual therapy. We do family therapy. We do groups. And the clinicians that are here today will talk about some of the work that they do, that we brought the yoga into our groups. We do a great job. We're really, really good at it. Our psychiatrists know medication inside and out. They understand the brain. They understand how mental health affects the brain. And there's a lot of new research, new medications, and they do a great job with that. But By incorporating yoga, creating this holistic model for well-rounded recovery and support was something new for us, something new that we could bring into our existing program to kind of change it up a little, to provide the clients that we see with something new and a tool for them. And really the goal was to help our clients develop and enhance their ability to self-regulate, to be resilient, and create healthier habits. Evidence-based research, Ramki shared a lot of great resources on the slides. There's a tremendous amount of research out there on yoga in the improvements in anxiety, pain, and emotional distress. Thinking about the research and thinking about the clients that we see, we also know that clients with severe mental illness have at least 20 to 25 year less life expectancy than the typical person. We also know that patients with mental health issues is usually accompanied by significant medical comorbidities, which means our patients are not only mentally ill, they've got high blood pressure, hypertension, diabetes, and they're all trying to manage those while struggling to manage what's going on in their brain. So we know that our patients too don't, especially the ones that we see in the programs we're talking to today, medical medications, psychiatric medications have a lot of side effects. People don't take their medications consistently. They're on it, they off it, they come off of it, they stop. So we know that our patients don't like to take their meds consistently. Let's work with them, let's give them another tool, and that's where yoga came in to help balance some of that. Every patient's unique, but if they can utilize this new initiative that we're bringing to help them along their journey, why not? And so far, it's going really quite well. And trauma-informed care. So when I talk to individuals when they're starting trauma care, we all know that things get worse for them before they get better, because we're asking them to do the thing that they've been trying to avoid for most of their life and talking about. Not what brought them here today, right? The incident that led them to the ER or to call, but what happened along their life's journey that led to this point. So our focus for trauma-informed care is enhancing safety, again, emotional regulation and control. And the practice of yoga allows that to happen and allows them to, in the moment, be in the moment and learn. It's not happening on the first time, it may not happen on the second time, but the practice of doing it and how that's been incorporated. And again, we'll talk about that initial piece of the results and how things are going for us. So now the research project. So as I said, we started this a long time ago. However, the initial start of the research we started in June. We completed the first phase in August of just this past August, and looking at yoga's impact on mental health and substance use disorder. So we are rolling that out to our Harbor House clients and our Access Partial Hospital clients. The initial research we'll talk about today is just a short-term 8-week. The GAD-7 was done pre and post, and some feedback from all of the clients after each yoga session. So before I was lucky enough to get 2 of our amazing clinicians to come and talk about the rollout and that process in moving forward and how that was done. I just want to, before I introduce them, I just want to say a little bit about our Harbor House and our Access program. So Harbor House is one of our outpatient mental health programs in Patterson. Within that program, we do have an acute partial hospitalization. We have a partial hospitalization track, and what we call is ITCOD, Integrated Treatment for Co-Occurring Disorder. And that's what we have at Harbor House, and Andrea is our clinician there. Our Access Access Deaf Mental Health Services, aside from what you're going to hear today regarding our Access Partial Hospitalization Program, we have outpatient, and just to clarify, our Access is for anyone who is deaf or hard of hearing, or a family member who is deaf or hard of hearing in need of mental health services. We work with children, adults, families. We have traditional outpatient services, case management services, partial hospitalization, and residential services. So if anybody has any additional questions about any of our services, please find one of us before you leave today. So the next section of the slides, I'm gonna invite two of our clinicians to come up and talk about. I'll introduce the two of them and then invite them to join us up here. First, I'd like to introduce Andrea de la Cruz. Andrea earned her master's degree in social work with a certificate in addiction in 2025 from Rutgers University. She completed her undergraduate studies at Fairleigh Dickinson, where she obtained a bachelor's degree in social work and psychology with a minor in criminal justice and fine arts. We were fortunate to have Andrea intern with us at Harbor House, and following her graduation, we're pleased to offer her a position as a clinician to work with us in our programs. She currently works in both our acute partial hospitalization and traditional partial hospitalization programs. Andrea has become deeply involved in our yoga research. I invited her to join today to discuss the process with the clients that she works with at Harbor House. And then I'd also like to introduce Dana Ruddison. Dana Ruddison holds a master's degree in psychology from Southern New Hampshire University and a bachelor's degree in psychology from Prairie View A&M University. She has been a key member of our Access Deaf Services team since 2011 and currently works with our Access Partial Care program. With over 20 years of experience in behavioral health, Dana specializes in group therapy, case management, counseling, wellness, and helping deaf clients strengthen interpersonal skills, purpose, and overall well-being. Please help me welcome the two of them.
Good morning. My name is Andrea, as Tina has mentioned. Thank you all for coming, and thank you for inviting us to speak. It's my first time, so I feel like I'm back in school. So as Tina has mentioned, I'm a clinician at the partial hospitalization and acute partial hospitalization at Harbor House. So part of the research is where we conduct the research study. So before starting, all of the clients would have to sign a consent form along with the GAD-7 forms. And it's administered to all participants that is going to be participating in this research study as a pretest. And then soon after the study is finished, they'll do a post-test, and we as clinicians and Rocky and his team will determine if there was any sort of weakness or improvements from the study. Along with that, we would also conduct an index data where we would collect all the demographics towards the client's age, ethnicity, race, and the clinical disorders and mental health and substances. Part of my role in this research study is that every Mondays and Thursdays in the morning meeting with the clients, I would conduct the in-video sessions with Rocky, where I would play it for half an hour to 45 minutes, and then I would give out the piece of paper to them if the anxiety has been reduced or not. And then on Tuesdays is when Rocky comes in person, and they'll be able to have the in-depth yoga session and meditation session with everyone.
Hi, you ready? Yes. For the Access program, for the partial care program, I'm just going to add a little bit of what she said. It's pretty much the same, but the point is that it's a deaf program, and that we took classes with Ramki, and he would come in person on Tuesday at 1 p.m. in the afternoon, and it was more visual with an ASL interpreter was there as well, and he would stand and be the presenter with the interpreter. And the deaf clients were around in the room in a circle and would follow Ramki. And that was at Tuesday at 1 o'clock. Then on Thursday, we would follow the YouTube video, and previously we had actually videotaped Ramki doing yoga, and then we saved it. And Thursday, our group would watch the video on the screen in our group room, and we followed the video and we did the movements, with a group leader helping, also leading the clients as well to do the physical activity. Also, we tended to have, as Tina mentioned, we have another program. We have a residential program for mental health for the deaf. And on the weekends, on Saturday, they would do yoga as well there. So Ramki, his goal is for the clients to improve the yoga activity to maybe 5 days a week. Now, that's our vision, and that would be great, but 3 days a week for now is what we're doing. Two times in our program, and then 1 time at the residential program. So it seemed that we were doing that every week. And then after one-on-one individually, after the group, we would sit down individually and ask, how are you feeling? Before the yoga class, you felt anxious or not, something pop up for you, something come up, join yoga. It was 35 minutes or so. How are you feeling after that? And some people would say yes, no. And then we would do a little bit more of like motivational interviewing to be able to see exactly what they were feeling after the yoga session. Also, we did the GAD-7 assessment, the tool form, and we asked the questions. There's the 7 questions, and we do that about every 3 months, it seems that we're gonna do. Do you feel anxiety? Do you feel worried a lot? All those different questions. Do you feel like you are fidgeting, that you can't rest? And then the person would be like, yes, every day, or once in a while, or whew, every day, all the time. And then we would document that and send that to Ramki's group to do the assessment of the data. Also, that just confidentiality form that we used. After it's that same day, we sit down on that's the form that we use for the yoga assessment, and we do the practice. And we use the, everybody understands the HIPAA law, yes, and that we use that and make sure that we follow that. We're very responsible with that. We need to protect the client. And how are we going to do that with the research in their name? And how are we going to do that? We want to be successful, but we don't want to show the name. So we use that form and use their unique ID number. It's the medical record number that we might use in the hospital at St. Joseph's. We use that hospital, document it, and so we know which client it is, the number, and that's the unique ID number. And we would question, we do the yoga, all the stretching. Do you feel improvement? Yes, I feel better. And then yes, we would say yes if they feel better. Right? Did it help me? I'm still anxious, okay, and then we would document no. But that's an ongoing, after every yoga group, meaning Tuesdays, we would do the yoga, fill it out, and then Thursdays, we would do the yoga and fill it out, and then send it every week. And that's the data that was used.
I never miss research. So in total for the acute partial hospitalization and partial hospitalization, I had 16 participants. So on the gender, we have 12 males and 4 females. We had a variety of age groups, so for the majority of it, everyone was from the ages of 31 to 50, which were 10 of them. Less than 30 years were 5 participants, and 51 through 65 years of age was 1. The ethnicity ranges from 9 to being Hispanic, 4 being African American, and 3 Asian. For the clinical disorders, every participant is of course met with a psychiatrist. So everyone is diagnosed with either a clinical disorder or substance analysis, or even both, or co-occurring. So for a huge chunk, a lot of the 11 participants had major depressive disorder, which a huge chunk would have maybe multiple ones, so such as anxiety, OCD, schizophrenia, schizoaffective, and so on and so forth. For the substances, the majority of them had the marijuana, so 8 participants had that, as well as alcohol, prescription pills, cocaine, K2, opioids, and 3 of them had none. For smoking or vaping, they both count, unfortunately, the same thing. So we had 7 smokers and 9 non-smokers.
So we focused on the research that's connected to the Access Deaf Services for partial care. It's required to come into the Access program, the mental ill diagnosis, schizophrenia, anxiety, depression, bipolar, and need to be a deaf adult. The ages are from 25 to 60. Females, 5 females and 1 male. That's partial care, but we also had non-partial care clients come from the residential program, and that was a total of 6 females and 4 male. Okay. And the race, Black, white, and Hispanic. From Puerto Rico, from different areas, Honduras, just that Spanish group. And the age group, you see listed there, it varies in the age that participated. 51 to 65 was 5 participants. 65 or more, we have 2 participants. 31 to 50, only 2. And less than 30, 1. We only have 1 young male. The diagnosis, common diagnosis that we have is schizophrenia and schizoaffective. And then the other different diagnoses, anxiety, major depressive disorder, bipolar. Those are the diagnoses that we see. So now I just want to bring up about the challenges. So recently, Ramki, the first thing that you guys all did when you got up, what did you recently do with Ramki when he presented? Knocking on the head, and then having to hear sound while you have to hear what the friction of the hands are doing, and asking all of you, can you hear? And I'm sitting there, I'm like, nope, I'm deaf. I can't hear it. Nope, I got no hearing. And how is that gonna work for a deaf person to be involved in those type of activities? How? So that was one of the challenges. If you want yoga to be successful, how, and the challenges that yoga have and how it can benefit a deaf person who can't hear. So these are examples of some of the challenges that we came across, the barriers. So for most deaf, for children that are growing up and they don't hear, for example, all of you who are hearing and born babies, the first thing that you do as a baby is you're talking with the mom and you're going back and forth, oh my beautiful baby, I'm so happy and it's so cute. And you're listening all this time, and a deaf person doesn't have that experience. So it's delayed, the language is delayed, because that exposure to language is not happening. So now as adults in yoga, and someone's doing very kind of, difficult ideas and concepts and philosophies, and that language, that barrier is there. It's very difficult. You have to modify a lot of the language that it matches their language and sign language so they can understand the concepts better for yoga and how it's going to benefit them in a different way. So eye contact. Wow, so example, Ramki, okay, let's go, we're gonna do some physical activity, everyone's gonna sit and get ready, okay, I'm talking, close your eyes. Think about what's happening, your mindfulness, your body and spirit, and the ocean and the water, and it's flowing, and I can't close my eyes because I have to watch the interpreter. What is he saying? How am I supposed to kind of do that visualization mindfulness activity with my eyes? I have to leave my eyes open. So that was a challenge for the eye contact. Also, if I'm looking at the instructor and I have to turn my body and I'm doing the movement, the deaf have to are gonna miss the interpreter when they're kind of moving around. So I'm like moving my head back and forth, and so eye contact is a really big challenge. So you really have to kind of move around and make sure everybody's having good eye contact and knows the movements in so they can follow well. Also, related with abstract concepts, so that's really very difficult, and it's very deep for the yoga, the concepts. Okay, I understand the concept of like the visualization of kind of understanding that philosophy, but for a group who uses sign language and has language deprivation, I'm not able to truly understand and connect that yoga language. It's very hard. I'm not saying it is hard, I'm saying it's hard, it is hard, but it's not impossible. So we use very special modification through the ASL interpreter that supports and explains and helps and expands the information, and they improve as they go on.
Alright, so this is the results. So on the left, we have the Access Deaf Services. So in total, from the duration of 8 weeks, we had 63 encounters. And out of that 63, 61 have reported that they've been reduced in anxiety, which were positive. So in total, out of those 63, we had a 97% of a positive outcome. As for Harbor House, we had 214 encounters from the duration of 8 weeks. 187 out of the 214, we had an 87% of positive outcome. So 187 encounters were reporting that they've been reduced from the anxiety from the yoga and meditation exercise. So I'm gonna say it again, 97% and 87%. That's a huge number, huge positive outcome from the yoga and meditation. So God bless Ramki and his team. So part of St. Joe's and Harbor House and the Access, our mission statement is to stabilize one's symptoms, meaning that we are existing because we want to prevent inpatient hospitalization and to achieve community integration through the roles in daily living lives, learning, working, and overall social interactions. And that is why we help to normalize wellness practices in group settings. So groups such as DBT practice, where we use emotional regulation practices for emotional distress, anxiety, any sort of trauma, etc. And overall, like, it provided some sort of insight in which it approaches to help resonate the individuals. You know, with all the trauma, the substances, from the withdrawals and such, you know, we all exist for a reason. Now, part of my role, since I'm with the clients 5 days a week for 5 hours in a day, I receive the positive and the negative. Some have reported that they felt calmer, more in control, and better able to self-regulate with themselves. And that's towards anything, like stress, anger management, withdrawals especially. And especially like the yoga and meditation help manage the cravings and restlessness during withdrawals. So we have a lot with opioids, marijuana, nicotine, vaping, etc. And the negative, some struggle with initial engagement due to the stigma, mood, and misconceptions. We're all human for a reason, so we all have our bad days and our good days, right? I for sure am kind of in the middle because I felt a little bit anxious on my way here. So I'm a little bit up and down. But after doing the whole meditation and feeling the palms, like right by my pace and everything. That made me feel much more calmer thanks to Ramki. And the stigma, a lot of the clients have mentioned that yoga is perceived as a female practice or exercise. But once they got used to it from the duration of 3 weeks or 4 weeks, or even towards the end, they started to realize that, hey, I actually like this. I kind of want to use this from now on.
Yeah.
So from here, I had 3 lovely clients who actually wanted to provide the feedback. So client C had mentioned, before starting yoga, I felt very stressed, but I found that meditation helped clear my mind and shift my perspective. After completing yoga and meditation, I experienced significant stress relief, feeling refreshed, calmness, and as if I were floating in water. Ramki has been amazing at sharing. Client A had reported that practicing yoga had lowered my anxiety, especially through deep breathing and mindfulness that soothes my nerves. Before starting, my stress felt overwhelming, but the routine helped me find balance between my physical and mental health. I've learned to use yoga to support my treatment by giving me a meaningful way to exercise, connect myself, and to reduce stress. And finally, client D had reported, I felt very anxious, overwhelmed, and unused to doing yoga. But after a few sessions, I began to feel better and less tense. I noticed improvements in my breathing, calmness, even though I sometimes struggle with asthma. Yoga and meditation helped me feel more relaxed and relieved overall. Practicing the box breathing daily has especially improved my calmness and has been tremendously helpful.
So that is one of our Access Partial Care clients. He has something to share with you, but first I just want to start with the video.
Just click once.
Yoga is the best. It's helping me lose weight because I go to the class every time. And I stay positive. I'm getting rid of negativity. I'm never going to give up. Yoga is so good. I really enjoy going to the class every week. I would love to thank our instructor. His name is Ramki, and I want to congratulate him. He is wonderful. I want to let you know that yoga has helped me reduce my anxiety. If I didn't have yoga in my life, I probably would have a lot of anxiety.
That's one of our members that participated in Ramki's yoga group. He really expressed himself and kind of is labeled with, has a diagnosis of anxiety and struggles to manage with, just with medication. And he really mentioned that he has all these available services and all these available interventions, and that yoga has really kind of just added to that and helped him so much. At first he was like, yoga, that's for females. I'm a guy, I'm a tough guy. Like, this doesn't fit me, I don't want to do that. I'm like, just try. And he joined and he loves it now. And he goes every single time. And he's connected and he shares his experience before and after the class. And I wanted to share that experience with you. And then we have the comments from the other members too on the right side. We have some people who have very physical limitations and suffer from arthritis and walking and standing for a long period of time, swollen legs, and they just working with them, even chair yoga, just sitting down, and they are progressing, and wow, I like it. And now they're transferring to standing up and doing the yoga, and either whether they do it in the chair or in standing up, they're improving and getting better and better. And the other one, before, she couldn't really move, like going up and down stairs, like she had to use the elevator. She had very limited movement. and she couldn't stand for a long time for the bus. She would wait, and she would have to find a place to sit. And when the bus came, sometimes she would miss the bus because she couldn't get up fast enough to make the bus. And after yoga class, she's become more flexible, and it really seems that she's improving. I think we're going to be seeing better results even as she goes on with the yoga. So wow, there's been really a lot of improvement in Client A.
Yoga is the best.
This is second part for the video.
No, I had to connect.
Oh,
No, we'll take it.
gotcha. So now we're happy to pass it over to Tina. Thank you all.
Well, thank you again. So, as you can hear from the clinicians, their experience with the work and the feedback, in this short-term 8-week study, we've really noticed a difference. So that makes us think we as we move into the next longer-term study, but also for me at St. Joseph's Health is how else can we bring this to the clients that we serve? So we're looking into creating more sessions. We're looking into, as was explained, we did create the 45-minute video of the yoga sessions, but also creating shorter ones that can be incorporated into some of our individual therapy and family therapy work, shorter videos potentially on meditation techniques as well, to be able to bring to our other practices. Also, while Access has had the opportunity to bring it to the clients in their residential services program, we do have a hearing residential program that has group homes and apartments, and we're looking to bring it to them as well. Thinking ahead, and for many of you that work with the youth, is how can we bring this to the youth of Passaic County, both in Patterson and Wayne. So that's something that we're really looking to get started with shortly. And as was discussed as some of the challenges for the Access services is watching the instructor and watching the interpreter, and how can we bring someone that can bring both of those things into one for our Access clients. So a lot of great thoughts and initiatives for the future that we're thinking of. And again, this is just kind of a drop in the bucket of what we've been able to achieve so far. So very exciting. Thank you to Andrea and Dana and Romke for their dedication in bringing it to the clients. Thank you to Sari for interpreting today. So at this point, that concludes our presentation. If anyone has any questions for any one of the presenters, please let us know. I believe in the folders you have Romke's part of the presentation. We will be working with Shireen to email ours out, and it includes our email information so that you can reach us to talk about any additional questions you may have. So thank you again for having us, and